Hey there. Bob Coppage, CEO, Simplex-IT, Crotchio Geek, and AI expert. Not really, no, not on the last part, but it does seem to be a little bit fashionable to be an AI expert now because that's hot topic-wise. But what I want to talk about is actually Microsoft's browser wars, the monopoly case, Star Wars, and Microsoft's AI solution, Copilot. Yep, let's talk about geek history and Star Wars. Now, those of you who know me, you know I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan. Oh, by the way, this is BizTech Twists, and I've already launched into the topic, so deal with it. A lot of you have seen all of the topics about AI, and a lot of it revolves around Microsoft's offering Copilot, as well as the whole ChatGPT. And there are a ton of people who know the technical aspects of it much better than I do. But the one thing I find interesting recently is Microsoft's decision to add a button for Copilot to Microsoft Windows 11. Now, that's interesting. Why did they do that? Is it because their product is so fantastic? Is it because it's ready? Is it because it solves everyone's problems? No, it's because of Obi Wan Kenobi. Now, those of you who know me know that I think Star Wars is a wonderful series of children's movies. That's absolutely wonderful. You know, live long and prosper. Anyway, anybody? Hello? Anyway, but here's the issue. There was a scene in the third movie, Star Wars 3, Revenge of the Sith, where Obi Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, who's now Darth Vader-ish, whatever, end up in their last fight, and Anakin gets the high ground and screams, "You can't win, I have the high ground." That's what's behind Microsoft's decision to put Copilot as a button on Windows. And it goes back to the 90s. Now, back in the 90s, some of you can ask your parents for clarification on this. Back in the 90s, the internet was just starting to become a real issue. It was just like AI is today. And one of the tools that was just starting to get out there was the internet browser. It allowed you to browse the internet. And Microsoft had one called Internet Explorer. And honestly, there were some earlier iterations. We're going to stick with Internet Explorer right now. And it was going up against Netscape. Netscape Navigator was the big one, and it created what was called the browser wars of 1990s. And one of the things that happened was Microsoft added a button on Windows 95, Internet Explorer, and that created all sorts of issues, including ultimately a monopoly case where Microsoft was accused of having a monopoly by essentially running the browser down people's throats. And here's the thing, is that at the time, pretty much everybody agreed that Internet Explorer wasn't necessarily the best browser. Netscape Navigator had more features, yada, 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 but Microsoft was able to put it on everybody's desktop. And one of the comments that I've made often is that the most valuable real estate on the planet is your computer screen. The things that are on your computer screen in terms of that get you to click or double click or whatever, and now mobile phones as well, are going to be more likely to get your attention than things versus things that are not on your screen. And so by putting Internet Explorer on the desktops automatically, it was the easiest way for people to use a browser. And because of that, people said Microsoft had an unfair advantage in terms of winning the browser war. Now, the interesting thing is it was included in Windows 95, so there was no additional purchase that was needed. But it encouraged people to use the Microsoft tools, to go the Microsoft way, so on and so forth. So now we have Copilot. And Copilot is in that exact same position. The Copilot button is going to encourage more and more computer users simply to use Copilot's resources. And this is not a slam. This is not a slam against anybody or anything, including Microsoft. But it is a position of Microsoft to make sure that their tools have the high ground, just like in the browser wars and just like in Star Wars.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power!
There's even talk of Microsoft discussing with keyboard manufacturers to get a Copilot button added to them. Can you blame them? I, for one, welcome my AI overlords from wherever they come. Anyway, so that's my take on it. Again, don't use this as an endorsement of any product or anything along those lines. It's just an endorsement of the strategy or an explanation of the strategy that Microsoft is using to position their Copilot tools and their AI tools. And that's all it is. You got thoughts? Let me know, especially if you're AI. I'd be interested in knowing. And if you aren't AI, prove it by clicking on, oh, I don't know, a thumb. If you see a picture of a thumb on your screen right now, click it. That proves that you're a human being. But if you really got to double down on it, then you should subscribe too, because AI wouldn't do that. AIs aren't cool enough, not like you. And then share it and comment it so you can let the rest of the world know how cool you are as a human. I'm assuming. I don't know many humans. Bob Coppage, Crotchety Old Geek. Catch you later.